soon as she said, well, I'm okay with that, everybody has a pass, I was like, girl, shut up. You get whatever you deserve now. He's telling you what he's going to continue to do. Like,
right.
Why else would you bring up cheating in that level?
It's giving me the ick.
He wanted to get like nobility points for like spilling the tea and telling her that he was a cheater back in the day, but that he grew and now he's this person out of therapy. Such a manipulation.
It didn't sound believable.
It didn't. Like, no one talks like that. No one goes on a date and like talks like a therapist.
And it's like, I'm disrespected. You don't listen to me. I try to communicate. I communicate with intention. I communicate with this. Shut the fuck up. Don't even put it on toxic man. That's not masculine at all. His little fucking temper tantrums. Every little thing he's picking at.
One of the least emotionally intelligent people I have ever witnessed on reality TV is her. She lacks depth. She lacks understanding, self-awareness. I think she lacks education because the way she behaves. She lacks manners. There's not one winning thing of her I can give you. Nothing. The lady called her out for being insecure and jealous, and she did not like that because 100% she is both of those things. The most jealous and insecure girl I've ever seen on.
So it's like, why are you dating somebody that's in the military if you don't agree with it? Or if she used to be in the military, why are you still dating her if you don't agree with it?
I think what was annoying about that is that, like, I understand your viewpoint. Like, I understand everybody has an opinion about everything. But he wasn't trying to really understand why it was important to her. And even though she didn't agree with certain things, he didn't really understand that, like, she's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
That's impressive. Is that considered light skin?
Why is that impressive?
I don't know. Something different?
Love is Blind podcast.
I think we need to start with the cheers.
Right here.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Yeah. So, the ultimate question, is love truly blind?
No.
Well, okay. Pod's over. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Let's start. I'm going to go through couples real quick, and we'll see if love is truly blind. This one is way earlier in the season. By the way, we're recording this before the wedding episodes, but after our favorite ex-football player got dumped. But we'll start early on. Brittany and Leo. Was love truly blind for them?
So I have to look at,
where we last left these heroes, Leo was in a situationship with two people. Then it was just Brittany, sort of. He proposed. She said yes. They had super awkward interaction. Didn't go to Mexico. They went to Miami and broke up a few weeks later. What was going on there?
I think it's easy. He got Hannah. Hannah basically turned him down. He wanted the choice to be able to turn down Hannah or Brittany. And once that happened, he started panicking. Like, did you already make your choice? My Rolex is here. I have money. Please reconsider. But I think he just kind of started panicking, and he didn't have the choice, so he kind of just said, "All right, let's go with Brittany. She's a good number 2." Even though Brittany knows she's number 2.
Was she?
I think she just
was she number 2, or was he just not ready to pick?
I think it was close, but I think it became a little bit more apparent when, Hannah became number 1 when she rejected him. And I think then he was like, oh shit, like I want her now. Nobody rejects me. I'm Leo. My Rolex will not stand for this. I think once that happened, he kind of just panicked. And then once he knew that he lost Hannah, then he tried to flip the script a little bit. And now he's like, you know what? Yeah, I think it's best. And I always loved Brittany, and Brittany was always the one for me. And, he tried to spin the narrative a little bit so Brittany wouldn't feel like she was number 2, even though we all know, and Brittany even knew she was number 2. So I think he tried damage control. I just think the damage was way too much for him to try and control it. And his money could not fix that problem.
Yeah, I think he like Victor saying, he just panicked because he wanted to make the decision for himself. He didn't want somebody. He was caught off guard. He wasn't expecting Hannah to be like, bye. And he just was a little butthurt about it. And wait, am I allowed to say that? He was just very upset that he couldn't make that decision. Yeah, which, I don't know. I really didn't like him from the beginning when you just kept talking about how much money he has, which, is it like actual money? Like you can go to the ATM and withdraw $1 million, or it's just in your assets and the walls on, the paintings on the wall that add up to $1 million? Like,
Raquel, you can't say that. Butt
say
sets, what? Not assets.
What?
Oh my God. Yeah, there was just something off. It was like a little kid. It was a tantrum. Like,
I agree with everything you guys say. I agree with everything you guys say. And it was a selfish move by him. And still, I think Brittany didn't think he was cute. Because as soon as they got engaged and they were sitting there and she was like, and he was with I hate this move, with the hand behind the head, like, get closer, I want to kiss you.
That was giving some serial killer vibes, 100%.
Yeah. She was uncomfortable.
She was uncomfortable. It was too much. It was too much like trying to touch her. Maybe she was physically attracted to him, but she definitely wasn't feeling all the touching.
And I honestly don't think she went there to be physically attracted to anyone. She went there looking for somebody who had money. She heard he has money. She was good. She said, I want to be taken care of,
Yeah.
If I really wanted, like, love and marriage, really, she's like, I could have been married, She was looking for somebody that was well off. And he knew that. He liked that. And I only feel like he was so hung up on Hannah and her because it was the first time in his life a woman actually seemed to like him. And it was like a high for him. Like, look, a girl actually likes me, without tangibly seeing like a car or something. And he couldn't even let that happen. He still had to talk about how much money he had over and over and over.
Yeah, he had to.
One interesting thing, what do you guys think about his choice in pant length?
Oh, it was so cringe.
I don't mind a tapered pant, but
That was...
if we can see halfway up your calves, we got a problem, buddy.
No. It doesn't look right.
You would think with all that money you'd buy a couple of extra inches. But no, I mean, I think Brittany, I think she was more put off by the number 2. I think that number 2 thing really bothers her. Like, I think she thinks she's a prize, and I'm sure in her life she never felt like she was number 2. So the fact that she probably compared herself to Hannah, visually, and she's probably like, I'm better than her, or whatever, I look better than her in her eyes, or whatever, and that to see that he chose her over Brittany, I think that kind of, left a sour taste in her mouth. So even if she was attracted to him, I think she still had that in her head, like, he chose Hannah over me, I'm number 2, and I think that was part of it.
My thing, I think they broke up because she realized he doesn't have as much money. And this is all speculation. I have no real evidence, but I think she cares more about the money.
Is she the one who rejected Ramses because he was too short?
Wait, but how would she know that?
Yeah, how would she have
because she
known?
asked.
She asked.
Yeah. So,
Oh, maybe.
It was either her or Hannah. One of them
I thought it was
had an issue.
Hannah.
I thought it was Hannah too.
No, Hannah rejected another guy and he told Leo.
He told Leo that one of them, somebody told Leo that one of his girls rejected him because it was too short. I thought it was Brandy? Brittany. All right. That just shows you they weren't that important. Love was not blind for them.
Yeah.
Good. I actually think Leo's been funny on social media, so he wins to me. So let's go.
What is he doing on social media?
He did this thing is 3 things I learned from being on reality TV, and I thought it was kind of funny and kind of self-aware in a way he wasn't in the pod. So, he acknowledges that he was cringe and he talked too much about money. So,
yeah, good.
But he did it in a funny way.
What was cringe? Can you show us what he said was kind of cringe? Can you reenact that?
Yeah, I'm quite curious myself.
You know, I just want somebody who loves me for me and not my Rolex and not my assets and my butt sets. I don't know.
He also did the.
Oh, yeah,
I hate doing all that.
that was rough. That was rough.
He
Victor,
did
you
it.
got
That
that in
was
your
in the
bag?
video.
Oh,
He did
yes,
it in his
yes,
video.
that was. I
He's
forgot.
Super cringe.
He's like,
But even the guys, you could tell they were getting extremely annoyed or like irritated with him the whole time.
let's be honest. Leo has always been the dork that wants to be like Mr. Popular, to be fitting in. Even in the pods, he had all this money, he had the Rolex. He loved when the guys were like, oh, a Rolex. He lit up, like, oh, they finally see something. But then you can easily see they all start like laughing and making side eyes and stuff at each other. Like, the poor kid, all the money in the world still isn't gonna get him to be like the number one dude in the group.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not him, and that's okay. You don't have to be Mr. Sunshine of the group. You're just kind of socially awkward, and that's okay too. Like, you will find a girl that adores that and loves you for that. Just stop trying to be something you're not.
Well said. Well said. And I agree. So good luck.
Well, can I ask a question? Do you guys know why the producers didn't choose them to go through the vacation?
Not any more than what I keep hearing is they just really thought like they weren't a strong couple. I think they knew that she was kind of more into it for money, and what was the point when it wasn't going to work? She was clearly not into it. And I think she did something where she did say she kind of told them after meeting him, like, I don't think I'm feeling it. Like, I'm really not.
That's my assumption.
Feeling.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I read
my
an
assumption.
article with one of the producers, and he flat out said that when they choose the couples, they choose the ones where they truly believe, like in their gut, are going to say yes at the altar. So when they did, after they got engaged and stuff, and I guess they do interviews with them, I don't know, they just felt that it wasn't going to work just based on their answers. And then they didn't move forward with them.
But I think that's also contingent on the number of couples that actually make it. Because if
well,
you're
of
taking
course.
6 couples and you know you only have spaces for 6, they're just gonna bring them all, even if they think they're all gonna say no.
Yeah,
But
here they had more than 6, so they had to make a decision.
In my opinion, I would have preferred them, even though I know she may have said that. I would have preferred they went on the honeymoon and got to meet the other couple, because I feel like that would have made for more better TV to watch than them not going at all. I think it was a huge opportunity. I would have loved to see Leo's reaction to Hannah, Brittany's reaction to every other guy.
Yeah. So based on this article, it seems like they might be at the reunion. Like they're going to be at. So we'll see more of them.
I hope they're.
But
she says she's not into it, and they're like, okay, we're not spending the money. They're gonna break up. But she was definitely not into him at the proposal. She was creeped out, weirded out, didn't want it, didn't like him.
Leaning away as hard as she could.
I would have liked her there as a free agent, just somebody there trying to steal somebody else's man.
But that's
it.
That's against the experiment, the sanctity of the experiment. No, I'm bullshitting you.
But
I was upset because I thought they made better TV than half the couples at the time.
Yeah.
But if she didn't want to go, obviously you can't make it happen.
And I would have loved to see how much money he actually had. Like I would have loved for him to go back and like, oh, let's see your house, or let's see this. I would love to have seen his house, like what he has, because he's been bragging about it the whole pod. So let's see it, but missed out on that.
We're talking, and not that we're being serious, but like how all his family passed of cancer. I'm like, somebody's taken out that family, man. Like even the step family, like the stepmom or whatever, or step grandparents or whatever, they died of cancer. I was like, what is happening in like a 3 to 4 year span?
That's rough, man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Like,
I might have fast forwarded through that.
This guy, I no comment. But I felt for him though when I heard his story, because I think the money is more just of how he copes, because that's the only thing he did have. After unfortunately losing his family, that he had the money, so that's kind of what he clung on to. But it's just an unfortunate story that he had to deal with all those life traumas back to back to back. I mean, definitely leaves a scar on him. So we can't judge him too harshly.
All right.
But I will tell
Enough on
you,
them.
Love
They
and
didn't even
Blind,
make it.
they'll never make that mistake again, though. I don't think production. They'll make, if it's like 7 couples next season, they'll be like, all right, just go, because the backlash they're getting off of that is like, we wanted them there, like whether they
Bring
work or
all
not,
7.
send them.
She
For
said
sure.
no. I'm telling you, she said
You got
no.
the budget.
No,
She's
no, they
like,
literally
I'm
didn't choose her.
uncomfortable.
They weren't chosen.
Yeah.
They weren't chosen.
Yeah, Eric, you have some
keep,
insider
you
information?
keep making. It's weird that like you refuse to believe like what the producer is saying. Like,
Oh, you telling me the producers that supposedly starved them and didn't give them water, they made them drink alcohol types of days, that they wouldn't lie? Come on. I don't. Yeah, fuck Love is Blind producers. We know what they are. They want that money. They would have happily sent their most popular guy to that point to Mexico if the girl wanted to, and she didn't want to.
Wait, so what do you mean they made him starve and just drink liquor? Elaborate.
There's plenty of articles on the lawsuits. I'm not gonna go into it.
Really?
We got mad. Yeah, they're getting sued by past cast members. So
Nah,
we got so many more couples who got some juicy details. So the next one was Love Blind for Monica and Steven.
another cringe. These guys are all cringe.
My African
that's-
brother.
About
My
to say,
Nigerian
Victor's
brother.
white
100%.
Nigerian brother.
Let's go.
I mean, I
Let's
don't
go.
think, with everything we know about this man, I don't think you want to be calling him brother, but
Brother.
So first red flag when he was talking
He's
like
Nigerian.
a therapist.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, that part.
Second red flag when he was
Scammer.
talking like a therapist about cheating on his ex, and he's like, "It just was me. I didn't feel good enough, confident enough for her, or whatever." It's like, bro, oh, you practiced this shit. You practiced what you were gonna say, and she fell for that shit. Nah.
She did.
as soon as she said, well, I'm okay with that, everybody has a pass. I was like, girl, shut up. You get whatever you deserve now. Like, whatever happens to you, you just said, that's okay. I don't mind. He's telling you what he's going to continue to do. Like,
Right.
why else would you bring up cheating in that level to make it seem so like, oh, well, I don't know. I was just like, girl.
He wanted to get like nobility points for like spilling the tea and telling her that he was a cheater back in the day, but that he grew and now he's this person out of therapy. Such a manipulation.
It
And
didn't
she
sound
felt-
believable.
It didn't. Like, no one talks like that. No one goes on a date and like talks like a therapist. No one does that.
But all right, let me play devil's advocate. What if we didn't know the things we know now, and he grew from. I mean, he made a mistake, and now he's not doing it anymore, and he grew.
Yeah, I don't want to
Then-
come as like, if you cheated in the past, obviously, like you should tell the truth and tell what happened, and it's not that you're not redeemable. It's just that the way he explained it
Right.
was
right.
not believable.
Yeah.
It's not
And it
the
was
fact
at a-
that he did it; it's how he tried to rationalize it. And I'm like, all right, you didn't feel good enough for your ex, and so you did that. Come on, bro.
He's just regurgitating what the therapist told him. He doesn't feel that way.
A shitty one, by the way. A shitty.
Yeah. Like, no. Awful.
It's probably not
I
even
mean,
the
I already
therapist, it's
peeped-
the TikTok doctors. He watched a couple videos about why men cheat, and he's like, all right, hold on, let me write this down.
I already peeped what he was gonna do early on. I already knew he was into some weird shit. It was kind of obvious to me. I was like,
It
yeah,
was.
he's definitely it's coming out one way or another.
He,
and then he made
couldn't
a comment
stop
on
the
honeymoon.
comments.
Yeah, and I was like,
What
oh,
was
yeah,
the
he's
comment on
definitely-
honeymoon?
He was talking to somebody. He was like, basically in the sense of, girls are gonna be throwing themselves at us, like that kind of comment. I was like, oh yeah, he's plotting and planning, 100%.
Yeah, when she got pissed about the fireworks, and she was having the conversation with what's her name, Taylor, and then he just sits down and is like, yeah, they're gonna be sucking dicks and things
Yeah.
like that. That was fucking
What is-
off.
Yeah.
And Taylor, come on, you can't
She's
be that
annoying.
nice to. Okay, we'll get there, but you can't be that nice to sit there and listen to that. Come on, Steven's gonna get the majority of the flack here because he is a weirdo. But what did you guys think of his former bride to be, Monica?
She was annoying.
Flowers. I want flowers. And the flowers. And the flowers. And the flowers.
She didn't
And I don't want to
deserve
tell
that,
you I want
but-
flowers. I want you to just know that I want flowers.
Yo.
Okay, girl.
That was a lot. That was a lot. And she doesn't deserve what happened to her, but does she deserve what
No, she
happened to her?
doesn't.
I mean,
Nah.
at first I was just like, oh, good for her. She's saying exactly what she needs up front. You like flowers? Great. But the fact that you have to keep saying it, it's like, all right, now you're just being annoying.
But why does she want flowers? I think we gotta peel that back. No, we don't. I don't like her that much. But I do think.
I mean, it's not
what?
abnormal to like flowers, but it's just to be that pressed about them is, I think, a little bit strange.
Maybe
is.
no guys ever got her flowers, and
She
Facts.
made it.
There are girls like that.
She made it seem like he promised to get her flowers, and then he again used word gymnastics to say, "No, it's just an example. It's like I want to do nice things for you," and she's like, "Well, no, I want the flowers actually." So it was just like it was. But what about the fireworks situation? She got all
I mean,
tight about that.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
what
think
was,
she
what
was
was
just
the
in her
fireworks?
feeling. The fireworks were going off. They got up to go watch them, but he didn't come over. He
'Cause
just
he was
stayed and did
talking
what he
to-
was doing.
He was having
He
a
was-
conversation, a deep conversation with one of the other guys.
Wasn't that the dick sucking conversation?
It was pre-dick sucking conversation.
Oh, okay.
Are we allowed to say that on a pod?
It's our pod. It's not copywritten words.
You asked
Yeah.
us after
Okay.
we've talked about clapping cheeks like
Yeah.
for weeks. So we
True.
gotta use innuendo.
Sure.
So, Nora, you were like, I don't know if you were like, come on, you should have walked over, or if you're like, no, you're annoying.
No, I
That
do
you got
think,
so upset.
I don't think you can get I understand why she's upset because she wanted to have a romantic moment, and if we really put it in perspective, this is like the pre-honeymoon. So when I think of something romantic, if Victor didn't get up and he chooses to sit with a bunch of guys during a romantic thing, I get we're like talking whatever, but it's still supposed to be a romantic getaway where we're trying to get to know each other. Mind you, in the pods, you guys were all together the whole time, so like really the focus does need to be on us to see if we're compatible and things. So I get her being like, well, that was like, it was a romantic moment. I wish you would have gotten up, but it's how she handled it was not.
Yeah.
Just like to make a fuss in front of everybody. It's one thing to be like, hey, next time, like, it'd be nice if you, like, something's going on, like, take a little initiative. Those things mean something to me, and kind of say it like that. So that's why I'm like, I don't knock her for being like, well, damn, like,
She's a little bit immature with how she kind of comes across with her feelings a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if alcohol could have played a part in that. I don't know if they're all
That's
drunk
true.
at that
100%.
point. For
They're
both
always
of them,
drunk.
maybe he didn't.
They're always
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you just met this guy. So what's romantic to you, he doesn't know. He doesn't give a shit about fireworks, clearly. I think, like, if you just met somebody and you're and I think she should have went to him and said, hey, like, interrupt the conversation. Why are you leaving it up to him to go talk to you? Like, she can't assume that he also thinks fireworks are romantic. It just seems like the fireworks were random in the middle of everybody's conversation, so they all supposed to just stop and be like, fireworks. We're not 10. Like, I don't know. I don't care. I think it's because I don't care for fireworks. Like, I'm trying to put myself, yeah.
There's two things that, like, when the couples get together in Mexico and then back home, there's two things that I observe in those situations to the max. One is the couples get low-key competitive with each other on, like, who's, like, so close and who's doing
totally.
super great, and it's like it gets uncomfortable for me. I'm like, wow,
It does.
you really want to be so much more in love than somebody else, but it's fine. And then the second thing is, like, which groups really girl out or bro out so much. And in this case, it seems like the dudes really broed out a lot. And I'm like, in agreement. It's like, it's kind of your pre-honeymoon or first vacation with your girl. Like, these guys, you just live with them for a whole week. You can be away for them for a little bit, right? The dynamics are crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's just a bit of familiarity. Like, they're familiar with each other and they're in an uncomfortable situation where they have to meet somebody and talk to somebody that they just met. So they kind of gravitate back to what's familiar for them. That was being in the pods
That's
and
true.
them getting along. So I think it's an
I agree.
adjustment period.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I also think, you know, and not saying like I'm judging it, because I'm sure I've been guilty of it growing up and stuff. Like women, we feel like things should always be a fairy tale, right? Like you think you're sitting on a beach, fireworks go off, he's just gonna know Mr. Prince Charming to come run over and be with, you know, like it's embedded in our head that this false narrative of this fairy tale where in reality relationships are communication. So I think her being upset about it, like I said, I get, but this isn't a fucking fairy tale. This is real life. Like, he's a different person than you. How the hell does he know that's important to you until you communicate that to him?
Exactly.
So, like, I think a lot of women who are single for long periods of time or haven't had very real relationships don't understand that, even into their 30s, 40s, whatever it may be. In her case, I think it's 30s. She still doesn't, I don't think, comprehend that this isn't Disney. Like, Prince Charming isn't going to come say, let down your hair and climb it and you're in love, you know? Like, that's just not how it's going to work. You're going to have to communicate those things, and to get so butthurt about it, it's not the way to do it, because then it's just going to be like, well, shit, I don't ever want to do this.
Yeah, and I'm thinking too, like, and communicate it in a way that's like not condescending and bitchy. Because when she brought up like the love language thing, she's like, well, this is my love language and my love language is this. It's just like, yes, it's important to have a love language conversation, but make it light. Don't make it so fucking awkward.
So it's hilarious. Up until that point, she's taken a lot of L's, and then the tables fucking turn.
Oof.
So we get back with them. They actually make it out of Mexico, and they have some pretty sexual conversations on screen, and then they go get the flowers that he promised her, and then he goes to take
After he loses his job.
After he loses his job.
So she's going to be the breadwinner, which another big red flag. Oh, this has happened before for like 7 days only. Like 7 days. And I'm like, so what the fuck are you talking about bills? If you're only going to be out of work for typically 7 days, why are you worried about bills?
Later.
Like,
right.
Yeah, that's honestly, I'm like, he ain't getting you those fucking flowers, girl, because homeboy probably hasn't had a job in a while. Like,
very true. Very true. The red flags start to pop up everywhere. And then, so Victor, you know, at your last sleep test, how drunk did you get, and who did you start texting?
I just started going down the alphabet. A, B, C, D.
Remember, I don't throw hands like Corey. I throw hands, so be very careful. No.
Please, I'm sorry. No, I actually wanted to do a sleep test, but now I don't know, because I don't know what a sleep test is anymore after how he was explaining it. I thought you were like in a room with scientists looking down at you, studying you, but it seems like a lot more fun, and you know, so I don't know what sleep test he went to, but you got to give everybody recommendations. But I don't know.
Okay.
What that was crazy.
Raise your hand if you think he was at a sleep test.
I actually do.
Oh, okay.
And
I
it
do
might be a
too.
little biased because I've watched some interviews. I always thought he was, because if you really listen to what she says, she can't really remember. Like, and I get it, she's in shock. So when she's trying to replay what happened, it's kind of jumbled. So I was like, well, I'm sure he's there, but I'm sure he is texting some other girl. He's probably just not wasted. He's saying he's drunk so that it's not his fault. Because once again, we know he's a total gaslighter with everything he says, right? Like, say whatever just to make yourself feel better. He's not a cheater. It was just low self-esteem. And he only texted that girl because he was drunk and low self-esteem again.
Yes.
You know, that's it. So that's why I was like, I do believe he was there. And she does go on to say that she was able to actually authenticate that. And I don't know if that means like calling the place or whatever. And the drunk part, she's like, I know for a fact he wasn't drunk because we had 2 drinks before going. We had a dinner and he went straight there and he called me when he got there. He even took a picture of himself in the room, and she like Googled the room to make sure that was the room and everything at the medical place, and it is. So,
and then as soon as after he took that picture, he dipped.
So maybe, I mean, there's a possibility. But why would he be texting? If he left, why is he texting? He would be acting on things. You know, I think that's the
I'm on my way. You know what I'm saying?
So
What
he
you
was
wearing?
he was supposed to be sleeping, but he was texting instead. Is that what we
Yeah,
think?
I think so.
Okay. So the sleep
the
test
results.
just didn't happen. Yeah, the results are all
Yeah.
skewed because he didn't sleep.
He's
And
like,
my
he's
understanding, it's for his disability with his military benefits. That's why he's doing the sleep study. It's been planned for like months upon months. So that was
I
on
was
the
like, this
calendar
is
for
random to have this. on
Yeah,
Love is
it was
Blind.
on because it's something with his like military benefits. I think he had to do it because I think he claims some kind of like disability from the money or whatever.
Okay.
And I bet he'd
I
been
think.
working on this side piece for months and months too, planning when he was gonna get back to her after coming back.
I think what happened was that he has newfound confidence, and he's like, "Guess what? I'm 1/16th Nigerian. Hey, let's go!" And then he started texting, and he got his confidence. He's like, "I'm in there." So
This guy was an enigma. He's a former Trump voter, switched to Joe Biden.
So he
thought
says.
he was
So
probably.
he said.
We'll see.
Allegedly.
Once he
I don't think he
realized-
switched.
I don't either. I think once he could start telling, and she did say, "I'm by my family, whatever." She goes and tells her race in some ways. She doesn't say. Well, she says she's Honduran, but she says like, "Oh, one of them didn't disowned us because we're biculture." I don't know something. Once he heard that, he's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't vote for Trump anymore." Like, yeah, me either. Like,
I learned my
Yeah.
ways.
yeah.
He is sensitive. Like when she's upset that he didn't get her flowers, he starts to cry. He loved learning about his new culture through books. When he found out he was one drop Nigerian. Although it's skin color aside, he had the features. I thought he was biracial when I first saw him,
Yeah, same.
and it's like I guess he went throughout his whole life, but it's just like he's an enigma. It's just like he's all over the place. I didn't know how to put him.
Wait, so how did he find out about it?
He took
'Cause
I think
did
a
he find out about it
23andMe.
before?
Yeah.
Before
His
he came on the-
sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his sister
Okay.
did one of those 23andMe, and they always thought they were Italian, and they have 0 Italian in them, but 1% Nigerian.
Damn,
So,
but
like,
did he
his
do the
class
test?
ring-
'Cause
He might be
True.
more than the 1%.
he might not be.
There's-
That might not be his sister.
Wow,
That's
funny.
Double check. I'm saying you gotta double. You can't just go off somebody else's results. You gotta, do your
That's
scientific
true.
research, your due diligence.
I
Well,
think-
and he did say his grandma always said they were Italian, so his class ring, he got the Italian flag, and the results show no, so maybe he is.
Yo,
His
what was the
sister's
grandma
not.
trying to hide?
I don't
Was-
know.
Was grandma a thotty out here? And just like
She-
got seduced.
Yeah.
Didn't want to
She was
admit.
thoughting in the streets, and then she didn't want everybody to know.
I wanted them to elaborate on what books they picked up, or he picked up, to learn about his Nigerian culture. I want the names of the books.
You want the name?
I know.
How come that was never dropped is a shame. I want to know what you were reading. I want you to
He
drop
picked up
the
the Rachel
authors
Dolezal book. He bought the Rachel Dolezal book. Like I'm about to learn what it's like.
to switch
Like
races
That is wrong.
midday.
Can you imagine him just like getting books back in the pods? Like, hey guys, I'm freaking Nigerian, and he's just like reading it.
I was like, go to a cookout, my friend. Learn for real. Don't like.
I was gonna
read
ask
out of
Victor,
books.
what books do you guys read to learn about your culture? I was curious what books you would recommend us.
Things fall apart.
Yo, I was.
New York, that's that New York school system.
Oh
That's
my
the only
god.
book I remember that we had. And then the teacher made
my
us read it
gosh.
out loud. And yeah,
Damn.
I did it in a Nigerian accent too. So,
You
like,
read that in high school? That's a very heavy book in high school.
It was pretty light.
No,
that-
I'm talking about what's in it. Oh, whatever. Let's move on. Next couple.
I think they both made out for the better. I did feel bad for her in the end,
Yeah.
but
I can't feel bad for these people.
But I think the way she reacted and acted to certain things, I think made her susceptible to this. Just if that makes any sense. Like, You're so dead set on finding somebody who's going to get you those flowers, who's going to treat you like that goddess. And a smooth talking guy comes along and you can't really tell whether he's genuine or not. You just kind of go with it. So hopefully she avoids people who need sleep studies out there. Talk
Real
about
quick before we move on.
Yeah.
Real quick. If she didn't find that text message, this isn't tea even, but I'm just curious. If she didn't find that text, would she made it to the altar with him? Do we still think?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he has this, like, he has a lot of fetishes that would eventually have come out, and I don't think she was with a lot of them. So,
But a lot of the red flags she didn't really address unless it had to do with her flowers or her gifts or whatever. Like
she
that
was
whole
paying this man's bills.
She was paying
his bills already.
Yeah, and even these awkward conversations that he's having, like, she never called it out.
I don't want anal just on my birthday, girl. I want it on the reg. I was like, damn, man. You're like, I know you're supposed to get married, but this is like 2 weeks you just met this girl.
Yeah, he was wilding, man.
I think he would have found another way to fuck it up. I think he was looking for ways to fuck it up. And even in the breakup, he's like, you're right. I shouldn't have gone on the show. There's something wrong with me. Blah, blah, blah. He just had an answer for everything. It's just like, he would have fucked it up.
Here's what I think. I think he went on the show. I don't think he had any intentions of finding love. I think he went on the show so he could be on the show, so he could now be some sort of famous or have his 5 minutes, and then use that to get a lot of women.
Try to get them Nigerian girls, dropping his 1% Nigerian to get the girls.
Yeah, good luck with that one, homie. Good luck with that one.
You don't want that smoke.
He's a light-skinned Nigerian. That's impressive. Is that considered light-skinned?
Why is that impressive?
I don't know. Something different? I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of girls that be like, oh, I like that. She's not
I hope
dropping.
they both at the reunion.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. He wants more than 5 minutes. Okay, speaking of someone who does know how to throw hands, or at least at the mouth. That sounds weird. I don't know. Transition here. Alexandra and Tim. So this couple, I'll be honest, I fast forward through almost all their scenes in the pods. Boring as hell. So I don't know what they shared in there. Apparently it's some deep shit, but then they get to Mexico and they have this big blowout argument where she's just over it. He is trying to like figure out what's wrong, and she gets disrespectful, puts her hand over his mouth, probably says some shit she regrets, and then he leaves for the night, comes back, and they talk it out. And also they go for this drive on a ATV. They go over the bridge. And they sort of rekindle what they had, but it was definitely different from there on. So up to that point, what did you guys think of this couple?
Lame. They were boring. They were just so dry. She looked always very like not interested, barely smiled. It was just like, I don't know what I was watching. They didn't do anything for me.
My take on them, I think they got very deep very quickly, and he has a interesting background, very unfortunate. I think this season has a lot of people that have been through a lot of
a lot
harsh
of loss
life, so I kind of feel for him. But then I feel like I feel like these guys are just the three guys specifically, three of the guys, they were more like on the feeling side of it, which isn't bad, but I think he specifically leaned into it, so it seemed like they had a bigger and more deeper connection than they actually did have. But I think a lot of it was more on him, and I think he put a lot of pressure also on her, saying like, I know, this family member would love you and this and this and that. I think that was a lot too soon. I mean, I know that they're in a pause and things kind of escalate quickly, but I think maybe it was a lot of pressure to put on her, and it kind of translated when they got out. And I think he was also big on respect, and I think she called him out of his name and got in his face, and from what he was saying. So I think typically I know a lot of people, once that kind of stuff happens, they kind of just back away because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where, you know, somebody is kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Escalating things to a point it shouldn't be. And I think he kind of assessed that and saw like, okay, this person and I aren't going to work out. But I think she kind of reeled him back in and they kind of tried to rekindle it. But I think from that point, he was already checked out.
Yeah, he seemed like it. He definitely was not into it. And I wonder what their argument was about that we didn't see on camera.
I think they briefly mentioned it. I don't remember exactly what it was. I
The
don't know,
details that I
know.
got, like that night, the night she was kind
wanted
of
to-
in her mood. She was like over
Yeah.
it, and he was kind of trying to figure out what was wrong, and she just didn't want that, and he felt disrespected, and then said something, and she probably got out of pocket like from there. She was
Yeah.
already kind of at her edge. And I was like, you're in front of cameras all day, you're interacting with a bunch of people, and she was probably on edge, and then got out of pocket because she didn't have like that wherewithal to control herself, and probably did some stuff to him. And so up until that point, is you're like, whoa, huge red flag for her. She's maybe a little bit not in control of her feelings or emotions sometimes, and he's like maybe regretting his decision. But then we go into the later episodes, and listen, this is my personal feelings. This guy is fucking insufferable and super sensitive. I'm like, bro, really? She took a nap while your parents were there
For an
And-
hour. For an hour.
for an hour, and then didn't text you back about the car, and is like, I'm disrespected. You don't listen to me. I try to communicate. I communicate with intention. I communicate with this. Da, 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 da. Shut
It's-
the
it's-
fuck up.
it's
bro.
fucking
If you wanna
toxic
break up,
masculinity.
break up. Don't even put it on toxic. That's not masculine at all. His little fucking
It's
temper
not.
tantrums. Every little thing he's picking at. Like Victor said, he put a lot of pressure on her to act a certain way. Bro, that's not the point. You're marrying the girl. You're not trying to like marry someone who's gonna do every single thing that makes you comfortable and your feelings in a good spot. Bro, that was
Like I said, I think he was just already checked out, and he's just trying to build a case to make himself not look like a bad guy when he makes his exit. Because like you said, a lot of that list was just bullshit. It was just him saying. She said she talked. She was tired. It seemed like she sleeps all the time. And like you said, they're from. Wait, what's about that? She said it. She said, I love naps. So I mean,
yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
agree.
he
It's-
takes-
yeah. So
He's mad pressed about naps.
yeah. And the conversation, right? Like when she was explaining it, I'm like, her side makes a lot more sense than him. She was like, I responded. I said this, and his reasoning just made no sense. You should have texted me. I did text you. Well, it should have been like this. Okay, maybe next time I can fix it. But he's like, oh no, I'm done. I don't want to see you again. Mm-mm. Like come on, like be at least more mature about things.
I didn't. I mean, at first I was proud of him for standing his ground. Like, look, she called you out of your name. Like, good for you for, telling her, like, that's not going to be acceptable in this relationship. Shut that shit down early, because it's way too soon in your relationship to be calling each other crazy-ass names, too. Like, how is it
Right.
getting that heated? You're in Mexico. You're on vacation. Like, calm down. And you guys don't even know each other that deep to be that angry, Like, what could you... I mean, unless you saw something on his phone, but you don't even have phones yet. But... yeah,
But
I think
everything that happened after makes me question how much she called him out on his name, like how bad she was, or how was he like needling her in the moment, like,
Yeah.
no, you need to sit up. I know you're saying you're out, but you need to sit up and talk to me now about what's going on, because I will not
True.
go and sleep next to you when you're in this state of, like, I could see him doing that, and then she's probably like, get the what, and then go off, like.
yeah.
The way he's picking the cuticle, it was just like, it irked the shit out of me, bro. Yeah, Victor, you're right. He was checked out. Like, and then to put it all on her, and then listen, whatever, you don't have to conform to gender stereotypes. But that's the least manliest shit you can do, which is put the blame on somebody else for something. It's like, if you don't feel it, just say, I'm not feeling this. We're not as close. I think that's it. But he wanted to leave with a little sassiness, like, and I never want to see your face again. Let's go.
Fucking pocket
Over a nap.
I think the theme in this, I think the theme in this season is public perception. I think everybody's trying to play damage control and make themselves seem a type of way. Because I was telling her, I was like, these three guys, they seem like overly sensitive. You know, I was telling her that. I was
you
like,
said
it seems
submissive
and sensitive.
Submissive.
Both.
You were saying submissive.
Both. Sensitive, submissive. Both. But submissive and sensitive. Is that better? But I feel like they were more so trying to play a role than actually be who they were. I feel like they were just trying to give off like they are in touch with certain sides that, you know, they think the woman may have wanted. But I don't think that was them at all. I think it was all kind of, you know, trying to play up the public perception of who they are. And then as you got to see throughout the show, they started revealing who they really are. And it contradicts what they were in the pods completely.
I have a question for you guys. What did we think? And there's no right or wrong, and like, not trying to be judgmental, but I am curious. His two sisters passed away, and one sister gave the other sister a bracelet before they both passed. It looks like some kind of charm or Tiffany's. He proceeds to give that to her. What did we think of that as a gift to give somebody? Overall, that soon? Too soon? I don't know.
It's
nobody really talks about it, and I'm like, to me, it hit me. I was like, I don't know. I didn't like it.
Yeah, same. It's definitely too soon. There's just so much sentiment that I couldn't imagine just meeting somebody and being like, here's a gift.
That's what weirds me out most about this guy. Like, that I just don't understand is he does these acts of giving her that bracelet and then writing this really deeply sentimental note to her father, which she made it clear how important and monumental it was for her. And he does those things and then so quickly on the smallest shit turns around and is like, I never want to see you again. Either you knew you weren't gonna, you had doubts about marrying her and you still did those things. That's fucked up. Or you legit like wanted to do those things and then on the smallest shit turned around and broke it off. And that's fucking psychotic. So that guy, I think he's some unresolved issues, to be honest.
Totally.
I think he's I'm not gonna use the term I was originally gonna use. I think he's a manipulator, and I think that I can't speak on him. I don't know his life stories and lessons and things that he went through. But if it was me and I've been through that, I'm not getting rid of that bracelet for nobody. Like,
no,
nobody until I have a daughter. Then I can pass that down to. But somebody I just met, I don't care how close we bonded over, a couple of weeks. I know it's intense and things progress more rapidly. But I'm not giving that up until I meet you in person. I know 100% no. Even then, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm saving that for a daughter. So I think, in my opinion, I definitely wouldn't have given that up, especially after a couple of weeks of knowing somebody. So that kind of struck. When I saw that, I was like, nah, something is up here. Definitely.
Yeah. And nobody really talks about it that much. And I'm like, to me, it sat with me. I mean, like, heavy in me that I was like, I just don't like it. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. It would make me uncomfortable receiving it if I were her. Like, it would potentially be a reasoning that I wouldn't end up with somebody, because I'm like, it's too soon for you to give something so valuable, and I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to judge them, because grief people handle differently, so I can't make that judgment call of like, because I've lost somebody, I would never do that.
So I agree with you, Nora, like, giving that away, you gotta be so fucking sure. You gotta be like 100%. And to back out on shit like that, is it that sentimental to you then? I don't know. The same thing with the letter. How did you guys feel like he did that letter to the father, knowing how important it was, and then 48 hours later, like, didn't mean it.
And you know he already knew before he went there. That's what really pisses me off. Like, and like, you know, her parents, both of them, are very ill. Time is of the essence for them and for her. You know, in the sense of like, don't waste this girl's time. Don't waste her father's time. I'm like, you have to be like, I don't, dead inside to be able to sit there and do all that bullshit with her dad. Like, I was tearing up. I was like, it was that man. You know, he's going through enough, and then you're gonna come and bullshit him. Like, you already knew. Like, I'm sorry. There's you taking a nap 48 hours later wasn't what the deciding factor for him. He already knew.
Yeah.
Or he was upset that he had to do the dishes after cooking.
Woe is him.
After barbecuing some chicken breasts. Come on, bro. Shut the fuck up. All right.
All day. He did it all day. He barbecued them. Like, then you're doing it wrong. Yeah, like you're doing something really wrong. You should learn to cook if it took you all day.
I had to figure out how to use the grill.
Yeah, that was crazy to me. I was like, bruh, don't broadcast that out loud. Just shut up.
Okay. So love is blind. What love was not blind for them, and then our last couple that love was not blind for. Wicked Witch of DC, Hannah, and our sweet baby boy, Nikki D.
Nikki D.
Nikki D.
Where do we start? So there was this situationship. Nikki D won her heart in the end. They come together in Mexico, and then he wants to ride a duck. And she doesn't want to ride a duck because it gives her the ick. Some older lady flirts with Nikki D. She makes Hannah uncomfortable and insecure. She writes a bunch of shit on a little note that she intended to read off to him. And then through it all the abuse and stuff like that, Nikki D still loves this girl. And then they go back home. She's unemployed, but yet she still makes more money than him. She's still better than him. She sweeps every day, wipes every day. The house. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, who wipes her ass? I have to wipe her ass because you don't know how to wipe your ass. Like, she does everything. But what do we think about this relationship?
Far, one of the least emotionally intelligent people I have ever witnessed on reality TV is her. She lacks depth. She lacks understanding, self-awareness. I think she lacks education because the way she behaves. She lacks manners. There's not one winning thing of her I can give you. Nothing. Not one.
Yeah,
Not a fan.
I mean, I think from the pods, it kind of... I think she knew in the pods it probably wasn't going to work, but she still went against that judgment and still, followed through with it, and that was already... a red flag there, but I think she thinks way too highly of herself, or maybe she doesn't actually. Maybe it's the opposite. She doesn't think highly of herself, which is why she acts like that. And I don't think by far Nikki D is perfect, but I think he is somebody that's genuine, and he's been genuinely trying to try the whole experience. He's taken things in stride. There's a lot of things that were said to him that a lot of guys probably wouldn't have stood for, but he took it. He tried to better himself based on those critiques, and I think that was messed up for him because he genuinely wanted to improve and work on it and get married. But I think Hannah was absolutely the worst person for him. And I mean, he's just somebody that wanted to have fun. Like, even the duck thing, it honestly wasn't a big deal. He's just trying to have fun. He's in Mexico. He just he just got engaged. He's just trying to be fun. That's probably how he is in real life. And riding a duck gave her the ick. I don't even know what the ick is. It sounds contagious, and I don't want it. But she can keep her ick. But I think that older lady that was there was more kind of who he should have been with. Somebody, I don't know her offhand, but I think she would have been a better match than Hannah.
They had a better connection in that 10 seconds than they did the whole friggin' season.
What I didn't like was that she would embellish the shit out of that story when she was telling it to other people.
Yes.
She was like, the lady called me a bitch, and he just stood there, and I'm like, come on, Hannah. Like,
fuck?
I was like, come on.
The lady called her out for being insecure and jealous, and she did not like that because 100% she is both of those things. the most jealous and insecure girl I've ever seen on the show.
Her versus Zanib. Who do you think wins? Is her?
It's her. She's terrible.
It's definitely her.
Well,
She is super insecure, and all this I know about cleaning, or I know about stocks, or I know it's all a mask for her trying to show her superiority in order to kind of point away from whatever she's insecure about. I'm not even gonna try to answer what it is, but yeah. And from the bat, he wasn't tall enough for her. She's like, oh, he's not really the football player type that I thought he was describing. Come
and
on.
you're the cheerleader type you
but,
describe?
I mean,
For sure.
in her opinion, though, I think it kind of gets like this whole experience is supposed to be Love Is Blind, but everybody gets to a point where they start trying to, guess the other person's type and then kind of tell them how they look. Maybe because they're worried they're not gonna like them or whatever. But I think both of their descriptions of themselves were 100% flawed. He said he looked like Henry Cavill. He said, he was saying he's an athlete, which is fine. A punter is an athlete too, so I'm not taking that away from him. But I also don't think he's short. Like, she was making it seem like she was taller than him, and she wasn't taller than him. I think with the heels, she was probably on the same height as him, if not slightly a little bit short. But she was like trying to get at him for that, and I was like, come on. And she was making it seem like she dates all these big football. Maybe she does, but there's a reason why she's still single. So
Neither one of them are ready for marriage. And I like Nicky D. He is though. I mean, her points are valid when she said like, oh, he still doesn't do a lot of things on his own. And not that that's a bad thing. I don't knock that at all, because I mean, he lives at home. So be it. If my mom would cook me my dinners every day and help pay my bills, shit, I'll take it. But that's just not the spoon I was dealt, like that's just not how it is for me. So I'm not knocking it, but I do think there's probably some things he does need to probably kind of go and live on his own in an apartment for a year or so. Start learning some of those and I'm not trying to turn this into like feminism, masculinity, but as a woman, there's certain things I kind of want my man to just know how to do. It's, like, shit, I don't want to be teaching you how to take garbage out and stuff. Like, I'm not your mom, like, go learn that on your own. Go practice it for a little bit, and kind of mature a little bit with that stuff. But I'm not going to knock you, and I'm not going to embarrass you or say it's something bad. There's nothing wrong with that, especially in a lot of cultural households. Like, maybe it's not the norm in America, but culturally, in most countries, other countries, that is the norm. Until your kids are married, they're staying home, and parents care for their kids just as if they were babies, that's not abnormal. I mean, some have taken it a little further than other. In my culture, Middle Eastern culture, the boys are treated like they're 5 years old their whole lives. They're babied, and it's just, that's the norm. So for me, I guess I didn't see too much wrong with that, as bad as that is. But I do think he needs to mature a little, probably, before having a wife.
Yeah, and
I
she
think
does
the struggle
too.
there.
Like she, go ahead.
Yeah.
I just quickly. I think the struggle there is he's not aware of that. Like at least many guys in that culture, they know it's like, yeah, my mom takes care of me until I get married, and then I go live with my wife, and then she takes care of all that stuff. And then hopefully they do have like a career, or they, something they're working on to provide. It's just not the way it is. But it's like he doesn't really connect.
Yeah.
There's a specific term for guys who kind of stay in that parents at home until they're older, and then they get married and move out. He was kind of acting like, hey, this is all normal, right? And it's like, maybe in Cuban mother households, yeah, but not generally. And he embellished a little too when he told her he could cook, and then you think pasta's kept in the fridge, my guy.
That was bad.
I mean, and like, that's what, but I'm like, at what point did he just start saying stuff because he knew the wrath he would have to face if he said, oh, I don't really cook? Oh my God, and I cook everything, and I'm Zagat rated. I have people travel from France to eat my food. I just feel like that would be the
Girl,
bullshit
you're
story.
cooking in a leather jacket.
Yeah.
You're cooking
I'm gonna
in
be
a
honest.
fucking
Nothing
leather-
she cooked would I eat. I'm gonna be honest. Like, girl, you cook. On what level? Like, don't you also? They're actually pretty similar with like how they describe their looks the whole time. Not on par. No self-reflection of like, And she's like, I'm the most self-reflective person I ever met. And I was like, that's scary. That there's worse you surround yourself with. Like, I don't know. But both, I feel like they both kind of embellish how they're these people that they're really not. Like, I don't know.
My thing with her is that she uses manipulation way too much. Like, she uses it way too frequently. One of the first being that list that she left for him to just pick up and read after it gave her the ick that he was riding a duck. Like, come on. It's like she did it intentionally. She wanted him to see it. You know, she was trying to show, trying to get him to change and bend to her will without directly doing it. And by leaving this note, that's how she was trying to do it. I think that was really messed up on her part. I think she's just, like you guys said, very immature. She doesn't really have any emotional intelligence. She's just trying to bend things to what she wants. And I think she has a lot of growing up to do. I think even her own family recognizes it, because even when you could see how they were acting, kind of like, like they wanted her gone too, from what I could tell. They wanted her. They were like, we don't want this poor boy to suffer.
Chill dad. He was like, oh yeah, if you're happy, go. Like, her dad was like, get the hell out. I'm done.
He's like, please take her far away. And that's how she wreaks havoc.
Right on, spot on with the manipulation to their last breakup, where she brings a whole ass notebook to say, tell me what bills you pay, and starts writing every single bill. And like, have a normal fucking conversation, but you write these things down so you can figure out how to turn them on him. Until you can't, and it's not important. Just like you had a 40-minute conversation with my best friend, and then all of a sudden she's not mad about it anymore when he's like, go fucking talk to her about it. She's like, okay. And then you stood up for yourself.
Yeah, she tried to be all sweet and try to be all like, you look good, or you look hot, whatever she said to him.
I want to ask you guys' opinion on that conversation. Do you think he was in the wrong for the conversation he had?
He did go a little far in the conversation.
You know what? I feel like because you guys met 10 days ago, no.
Except he says, I love you and I want to marry you. So if
but
you're
like,
saying
you believe that? You believe that?
If I don't believe it, I don't say it.
Woman.
That's the problem. If he doesn't believe it, but he's saying it, that there's something fucked up about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, you said I love you to
Hannah.
No.
I'm talking about the friend.
I know what I'm saying there is.
What I'm saying is like, they just met 10 days ago. Like, I know they think that they love these people, but they don't. Like, it's not.
But I'm saying,
then it's wrong to have this conversation with this other person.
He crossed the line a couple of times everybody knows how he is. He smooth talks and was quick to say, you're really hot, or I was really into you. And maybe he's like, doesn't mean anything by it, and he's just like, that's his way to communicate. But I would say it's like that. You crossed the line a little there, my guy. You don't tell a girl you were really into them when you're engaged. That's just like,
I disagree only with the fact that, Nora, don't look at me like that. I only with the fact that with your soul, I felt it through your soul. I think
throwing hands with the soul.
I think he crossed the line with telling her that she's hot or whatever, but I don't think he crossed the line saying that I was into you, because at the end of the day, I think I don't 100% know, but I think they put them in this situation so they could have these conversations, because you do build these connections in the pod and you do meet these people, but you don't really get to talk to them. So I think this was them just trying, like, more so closing the book. Did he step out of line with telling her, oh, she's hot and she's cute? Yeah, on that point he did. But telling her, I was into you, like, what I felt was real, I don't think that's out of pocket, because, I mean, those were true feelings that he felt, and they were in the pod, and that's part of the experiment. And it's not just because
he
you're
did
married
undersell
now.
it.
Well, not just because he's married now. It's a kind of a different circumstance than, if it was a real world life thing, and it was, he dated her 3 years ago and they're just now having a conversation. This is pretty recent, and you're encouraged to have these conversations with these people as well.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He undersold it, because Hannah asked him, like, what did you needed closure or something? He's like, no, I didn't fucking need closure. The fuck? No, but what you're saying, Victor, is a form of closure that he's looking for. So he lied a little bit. And that's where I'm like, Are you just like trying to have a conversation with somebody you were into and kind of end it there and stuff like that? Cool. Why'd you have to lie about it? Kind of that was the one part where it's just like.
But closure? How though? Like it's you have to have these conversations. Like it's set up that way. So.
Yeah, so, I agree. I'm not. If we're saying the conversation didn't cross a line and it was just like an emotional closure with somebody you were recently, like into, then your fiance asks about it. Don't lie about that conversation, right? Like, we dated. I just kind of wanted to say my piece, wanted to hear her out, and that's it. He didn't say that. He's like, I didn't fucking need closure. That's what he said. Those are his words.
Yeah.
I'm like.
Not to defend him, I just think it was already a hostile situation with her that maybe he was trying. I mean, I'm not defending him. I just think he's probably trying to choose his words, and because she was already in attack mode from even as soon as they met and they were talking. Like she was sitting next to him, listening, talking shit across the room, and all that. So I mean, I think she's just very insecure too about that.
With how mature she says she is. If you're sitting talking to a female for a long period of time and it's starting to bother me, I'm just going to walk over and be like, hey, what's going on? And insert myself. Like, I'm not going to let it just keep going and then sit there and be moody about it all night. I'm going to shut that shit down. If something's bothering me, I'm going to go see, do I really need to be concerned? Or are they literally just talking about, like, what's on the TV or something, and it's no big deal? Like, get up and go over there. What are you scared of?
But at the same time, you don't want... I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's like, do you want to interject yourself if they're trying, to have a conversation and kind of wrap things up?
No, I do.
But then
if I
maybe
feel
he
bad
doesn't get his closure.
Yeah,
if it makes you feel bad.
Like, okay, I'm not saying within 5-10 minutes, but it's been 30-40 minutes almost. Yeah, I'm gonna walk over.
We don't know. There wasn't a
They said it was
she said
over 40-minute conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So she was watching the clock. She was, that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, 20 minutes goes by. They're still talking, having the time of their life. She's watching the clock. She's getting more and more irritated about it. Take your mature ass over that you claim to have and be like, hey, what's going on, guys? That's your bestest friend in the whole world and your fiance. It's not weird to go and walk up to your best friend and your fiance. Just go and be like, hey, what's going on?
I would absolutely love it if at the reunion he's dating her friend. I would love it.
She would be good for him, but she don't want it. She's like, she was perfect in what she said. She was just like, you're better than who you present. And I see that, but until you grow up out of that phase, she said exactly what he needed to hear.
Yeah.
I hope, there's always people in the pods that like really intriguing and everybody likes them, but they just don't they don't hook up. They don't find a partner. And so we don't see them again. Like, there's always one every season on either the guy or girl side. And she was the one this season. It's like, damn, I wish we could have spent more time with her. But, yeah, too bad for her.
I think it was all aired. Like, we saw their dirty laundry because she had her notepad to let us know. And in case you didn't know, that's... Oh my God.
What? That's what? What are you going to say? You sound like you had
that's why
catchy
she
one-liner.
had the notebook.
There
she had the
go.
notebook. Do you know why, Nick? I have this notebook. Do you know why? Bitch, I don't care. She's very lucky. He was very nice because I would not be nice.
I would have eviscerated her.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the meeting real quick with her friends and Nick? You think it was kind of a 3-on-1 thing, or do you think it was fair, justified, what they were saying to him?
I fast forwarded.
And
it's not worth watching, so that's okay. It was them literally just repeating what she says all the time.
Okay, you know what it was?
They're not ready.
She was Gru and they were her minions. That's what it was. So I was like, I'm good.
All right, different question. Do you think after that meeting, because she specifically said my friends didn't like him, and then proceeded to like make moves to end it, do you think that was like the final nail in the coffin? Like, oh, my friends don't like him. Okay.
Final nail? Nah, I don't think she was ever gonna make it. I don't think.
I think she was so terrified that he would say no that she had to end it first. Because God forbid she'd be embarrassed one more time in her life. And I mean, we know that's childhood trauma. She admits it. She only says a little bit, but we know that girl's got mental issues from her childhood abuse. You know, she said, my mom used to lock the fridge and send me to fat camp, you know, like, so she's had body issues, like, and I get it. Like, that's traumatizing. Go to therapy. Fix it. Work on it.
Okay. So you bring up a good point. Do you think it's because she felt like he was going to say no that she wanted to ask it first?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think Nikki was saying things to her, and they say it a little bit, like he doesn't want to talk about sex because he has a reputation and brand deals or something like that. I don't know. I think there was a big part of him that he didn't want to look bad, that he was screwing this girl, having sex with her, when in reality he was going to say no. And I think she could feel that.
Oh, so you think he was going to say no?
Yeah. I think he was for sure going to say no. I think he 100%, when we talk about like branding and wanting to have a good I think he's smart. I think he liked her and he genuinely was trying to give her a good chance. But I'm sorry, I don't care how patient you are, how kind you are. You don't sit there and get ridiculed for hours at a time in multiple settings in front of all these people. Her gay best friend, I mean, he literally said, yeah, this is kind of what she does. She'll give it and never, you know, take it. And then she literally asked her, that was her brother? I thought it was her gay best friend. I don't know.
I thought it was her brother too, and then he didn't show up to the family meeting. So
yeah, but that doesn't
I was
mean
confused.
Not brothers. She said it was legit his brother.
Yeah, it was definitely her brother.
He understood, and he literally tells her, like, you've been sitting here for I've been here 2 hours and you haven't said one nice thing. You're telling me this man sat there with a smile, not knowing exactly why he's sitting there with a smile. He's doing it on purpose. He's not going off on her because there's plenty you could say to her. I mean, she's a walking billboard to insult if somebody really wants to, not to be rude, but she is. Like, for how she talks about people, you're an easy target. So I think he was trying to be respectful. I think he genuinely wanted to give this thing a try and see how it went. But I 100% think he was going to say no, and she knew it. I think she could sense it. And I think he didn't want her saying too much.
Yeah, I don't think he was going to say no. I think he wasn't mature enough to even understand. Like, he understand it was hurtful, but I don't think he really understands that, like, no one is supposed to treat you like that.
I'm torn. Like, if he truly was going to say no, to me, he hit it well. Because I was like, how could you just not break up with her? And he, even in the breakup, he was just like, I know there's things I got to work on. I'm not perfect. I'm sorry. Like, I'm like, man, she broke up with you. You don't have to, like, you can unleash now. He still wouldn't do it. He must be really committed. Get him
more women at the end of this? Being so kind and not, you know, like, if you really think about it, just staying calm, sticking it through.
Isn't it worse if he gets all the way to the, like, altar and says no there with the family there and everything there versus, like, before they get to that part, he's like, you know what? It's not working out. Like, if they break up right now where they broke up, but he's the one who initiated it, it makes him look better versus making her get the dress and doing all that and then saying no there. It's more the more epic move.
Because that could have been his growing move. He's like, you know, I thought about it, and I, you know, maybe you're right. I do need to go and mature, and I do think I need to be a better man for you. You know, he could have played it off in so many different ways that, what can you say? I mean, I don't know. And maybe he would have said yes, but I do think 100%, I mean, like, I know we watched him say, like, oh, I would say, I just don't believe it, and I think she could sense it. I think there was a disconnect there. I thought, you know.
I fast forward this too, but the mother talked to her, must have said something as well. I'm assuming because that happened right before they broke up.
She was telling the mom. She was telling her mom that, like, I don't think, and she's like, really? Like, once again, the family being like, is it him or you? Like, they're kind of being like, well, I want you to be happy, but are you sure? Are you just not throwing something away right now? Like,
what I got from the mom was basically that she was saying, like, things aren't going to be perfect, to work on them. But it got where she kept saying like, oh, I'm just not certain. I'm just not. Then she was like, all right, well, you should be sure of the person you're gonna marry. But in her head, she was like, fuck, she's gonna stay. She's gonna stay at home. She's gonna stay home.
Her mom already knew. She came in joggers. She's like, we ain't going dress shopping, girl. I'm gonna come in my joggers. I'm not even changing out of them. Like,
Yo,
she knew.
Did. She had a whole sweater and everything.
Knew.
Like,
yeah, she was in her joggers. You don't go dress shopping with your daughter in joggers when everybody's gonna be all like, you know.
That's a good point.
So, R.I.P. to Nikki D and
Hannah Montana.
Hannah's relationship. Let's go to the couples who love still might be blind. Marissa and Ramses. I'm gonna skip ahead through the pods. Let's actually go right to Mom. Meeting Mom for the first time.
Mom's a G.
Mm-mm.
She's definitely a G.
I'm not saying anything.
Was she right and she was sniffing out some bullshit, or super toxic?
I think a little bit of both. I think she sniffed out something in him and she didn't like it. But at the same time, her daughter is different from her. So I think the mom probably would have preferred more like, you know, traditional masculine man than what he was presenting himself to be. But she probably understood that that's probably what her daughter wanted. So she kind of just, you know, just did the mother thing and let her, you know, rock out with him. But I think the mom was just sensing something was up, but she couldn't put it, you know, put her finger on it. But I don't know. She was hard to read. Like, she was easy to read, but then hard to read. Like, what's really going on in her head.
I don't think she took any of this serious. I think she's like, if they happen to get married, please have a prenup, protect my daughter, but I'm not even going to get close to this dude until I have to.
Sounds about right.
I'm curious with the whole statement when she's like, my daughter, when she has kids, will want to stay home with them. How will you provide? But in the pod, she had said, I want a stay-at-home man. Like, I'm going to work. Like, so I'm curious what the truth is on that. Was she just saying that to him because she knew she would be making more money to him? Like, to just be like, see, it's okay. Don't feel less, you know, valuable as a man. You know, I'd want you to stay home anyways. Or is her mom telling the truth that she's always wanted to, you know, stay home and raise her kids when she has them?
I think that mother speaks a lot for her daughter in ways that the daughter doesn't want her to. I don't think Marissa ever was thinking about doing a prenup. And if she did, she didn't tell her mom, can you please bring it up? I think that mother, I don't think that she wanted to tell the mother to tell her, it's like, I don't believe this is forever. I don't think marriage is forever.
Yeah.
I think she has her own issues with relationships that she's speaking from experience, and her and the daughter butt heads. They have a very, like, they care about each other a lot, you can tell, but they also like butt heads. And I was like, that was intense.
Yeah, they seem like fundamentally opposite people, which is why they bump heads.
Yeah, not alike in many ways. She's very bubbly, always smiling. I don't think the mother's smiled since 1989. Yeah.
The rat tails. The two
The
rat tails.
It's giving me the ick.
Ick. It's set in. I mean, I don't understand them, though. I'm being serious. If I had a fashion segment on this, it would be those. I don't get it.
It's a hipster thing, it seems like.
But it's not flowing. Like, I just don't get, they're on the side, too. Just two. How did he make that decision, and what does he tell his barber? Like, please leave these 2 strands of hair to grow. Like, don't touch these when you fade me up. Do they pin him up when they do his fade to, like, make sure they don't?
It's commitment, too.
It's really...
commitment for a long time to that. So imagine, I wonder if, like, she didn't like him, if he would cut him off. Because he's been in a longer relationship with the hairstyle than his fiance.
Yeah, truly. I don't know. I would like him to cut him for the wedding, but I don't think they're going anywhere. And how none of the guys really talk about it. Like, nobody really mentioned it for a long time, and I'm like, how's nobody talking about this? Like,
Till the mom comes in, she's like,
Yeah.
I don't fuck with it. I don't
yeah,
fuck with it at all.
which I appreciated. Somebody finally brought it up on the show because nobody was saying anything. So that was appreciated from the mom.
The two conversations they had, the military conversation and the contraception conversation, to me they're not separate. I know there's two separate topics, but I have thoughts on how those went down. But what did you guys think?
Military didn't make sense to me because he knew she was military before, so it's like, of course she'll probably support it in some way, shape, or form. So it's like, why are you dating somebody that's in the military if you don't agree with it? Or if she used to be in the military, why are you still dating her if you don't agree with it?
I think what was annoying about that is that, like, I understand your viewpoint. Like, I understand everybody has an opinion about everything, but he wasn't trying to really understand why it was important to her. And even though she didn't agree with certain things, he didn't really understand that, like, she's stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's like, she values this thing deeply. At the same time, she sees everything that's wrong with it. And at the same time, she wouldn't be where she is if it wasn't for the military. So she's in a really tough spot, and he didn't really try to empathize with her situation. He wasn't open-minded at all. It was just like, you're wrong, I'm right, and that's that.
Yeah, on either thing.
On either thing, exactly.
Like, even with the now I'm getting an echo.
Yeah.
Even with like the contraception, he never stopped to ask, like, why do you not want to go on birth control? He was just like, no, sex is supposed to feel good. It's like, bro, like, listen for once. Listen, he has a very, like, a view on the world that he has his beliefs and nothing can really change them or they're right. And everyone else can feel how they want to feel. But what I feel is, very valid and has to be listened to. And I'm like, I'm going. It's sort of a little bit insufferable, but.
Yeah.
I thought it was pathetic to listen to him explain why, well, not really give a reason, just to keep pushing it, and then to make her feel like, well, I'm gonna say no if sex is important. So pretty much pushing her to a corner to get his way, like, there is a chance without me saying it, just know if you make me wear a condom, sex isn't enjoyable, and that's a big part of this, so do what I say or I'm out.
So quickly, because we're going to have a chance to talk about these couples. They're still together and we have one more episode, but predictions. Does Ramses and Marissa stay together? Is love blind for them? Raquel?
I think they'll make it to the altar, and then I think they'll both say yes. I think there's going to be an annulment within the 6 months, but I think they're going to make it to the end of the season.
Victor?
No.
They don't make it. They don't say yes.
They don't say yes.
Who doesn't say yes?
Both. Something happened at the last episode. I don't remember what. Like, she was throwing up in the bathroom when she came out. But I don't know.
I didn't. They definitely had an argument, but I didn't get what it was about.
I was thinking maybe she was pregnant or something, but I don't think that was it.
I think it's too soon to tell if this is only like their third week together. Yeah.
I think they say no. I think.
Well, really second week together, because
I think there's a lot of issues that weren't raised earlier on that they are now, and I think she already feels like he isn't going to be there in the long term, and I think he feels like he might get divorced with her too, or he's not 100% certain, so he doesn't want to put her in a situation where, because she said she'd be okay with not being happy for 5 to 7 years, just so she doesn't have to get divorced, because that's what she's seen growing up. And I don't think he's confident in them and their relationship to where he's not going to want to divorce her in 5 to 7 years or whatever. So I think she picked up on that. I think he doesn't want to put her in that situation. So I think they'll both say no.
Nora?
I think Rat Tails is going to say no. I think, just like what Victor said, she did say 5 to 7 years. And he was like flabbergasted. And I think we even made a joke, like, 5 to 7 years, if you ask me to wear a condom once, I'm out. And that's literally his mindset. Like, tell me to wear a condom and I'm out. I can't do this. So I think he'll end up saying no. And sadly, she should be the one to say no, in that situation. She should be the no, but I hope that means she'll end up finding somebody better for her.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Ramsey says no. I think he's having his doubts. So we'll see. We'll see in a few days. All right, let's get to Mr. Baby Daddy, Ashley and Tyler. So they were boring in the pods. He cried a lot. Fast forward, they look like they're like on steam ahead, and then he drops a bomb. They donated sperm, not once, not twice, but 3 times. All right, what's the tea on this one? I gotta know.
Okay, so let me break down. I've watched a lot of videos, so some of it might be a little off, and it's all speculation, but apparently, before he went on the show, he scrubbed his social media of all photos of him and his kid. Baby mama decided, for some reason, at some point, had taken already screenshots of his postings, of a lot of them. I don't know why. I don't know if she had a weird feeling. I don't know. But homegirl was ready for it. So apparently, he goes on the show. He's not talking about the kids. She already starts coming out when she realizes they're getting closer to out of the pods and he's not talking about his kids. She starts posting. I hope whatever tagging him is going to start being honest. Otherwise, I'll start dropping receipts because there's no kids yet. Well, it comes out, he talks about the kids and he uses sperm donor. And she unleashes all the proof you need to see. Pumpkin patches, matching PJs, him posting my twin in his matching PJs with like his son who's already at that point 4 or 5 years old. It's out there. Him saying when she asked we rewound it like so many times this last one, do they know what you look like? And he's like, I don't think so. Like, no, these kids are old enough. It's not like a newborn that you bought matching PJs with and then dipped out on. So he hasn't been paying his child support. He's $30,000 back in child support. He's obviously no contact with them since getting accepted on the show. So even before he went, I guess they get accepted like a year before or something. He just stopped all communication, all everything, and started cleaning all his social media to look like he doesn't have children. Apparently, there's another fiance too. He was engaged before. She came out, and I don't know how true this is because there's not as much evidence on this one. She is saying this isn't abnormal. When she was engaged to him, she randomly went through his phone and found out another woman was pregnant, the baby mama of 3. This is the first time she got pregnant. And he proceeded to say, like, no, she's lying, da-da-da. Never like a sperm donor situation. And that fiance decided to leave him because she's like, I'm not going to marry somebody that's having a whole ass family on the side. This isn't for me.
Now, I heard or read a different rumor that he donated to a gay couple who were married, and then one of the women left. The one who, I guess, didn't bear the children left. They got divorced, and that's when he stepped in to kind of help out with the kids out of, like, a sense. Has that been debunked? Like, there was no gay couple?
No, I think that is more the line of the truth. But I just don't know the sperm donor part of it. I don't think that was an agreement. I think it started that this woman, they weren't going to be together. He was just going to do it, and I don't know why. Money? I don't know. I don't know the truth because we can't really... She keeps saying, if he's not going to be honest, if he doesn't pay the child support, I'll release it all. So she's holding it as, like, blackmail. Like, she wants her child support. She wants, and she wants him to clear the record that they're not sperm donor babies. She's made that very clear. So there was an agreement of having this kids, and they were going to be his kids too. He went and helped fight for those custody of those kids as well when that separation happened, so the other mother could get no rights to the kids. That doesn't sound very sperm donor to me.
No, so Mr. Tyler is lying. I guess the question is, are they going to make it to the altar, or is this going to all be revealed to his fiance before next week? Oh, all right. So do we think that they tie the knot, Nora?
Yes. I think this
Oof.
poor girl is going to say yes and marry this man because they have such great communication. I mean, their communication is untouchable.
It's their superpower.
Untouchable.
It's
It's
their
their
superpower.
superpower.
There must be like a shitty comic book villain that nobody ever heard about. Raquel, you think they make it?
Yes, I do.
Wow, deep
Detail.
insights. And Victor, you think so too?
I don't think they make it. I think something happens. She finds out something maybe right before, and then they don't work out. But wait, sorry. I need to think about it because they just did jump out of a plane together, and she's been wanting to do that with her husband. Or is that somebody else?
That's an unbreakable bond.
That's the right breakup. Yeah. So, I know, but I think she put so much emphasis on that. Like, I want to do it with my husband right before we get married, and it shows that we're taking this leap of faith together. So I think her taking that leap is I think she will go through with it. I think they'll both go through with it. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think she wakes up day of the wedding is like, I can't do this. You lied, and we'll see. Our last couple, what seems like our surest thing, Taylor and Garrett. They were like compatible. There was some weird like race stuff, I guess, in the pods. But, like, you know, he wanted to know and then didn't want to know, whatever. But they're going strong until text from the ex, and he didn't respond. He liked, but then he did respond, and then it was all just weird. And he's moving to San Diego now. So tell me about these texts. Who's bullshitting, or how full of shit is he? A little full of shit, just got nervous and didn't tell the whole truth, or really full of shit and he was still throwing that thing.
To me, they're my favorite couple. They make the perfect equation. See what I did there? No? Okay, cool. I think he bullshitted just because I think he didn't want to mess it up. He was so worried about messing it up that he lied. And then he got caught in a lie, which made things exponentially worse. And he picked the wrong time to tell her. But I don't think he was like messaging his ex. I think he's probably very happy with her. He loves her. They get along well. I think it was just a stupid move that he made, and then he tried to lie about it, which made it worse.
I think a life lesson is if you and your partner are in a disagreement about something, but you have to go into a public event, the worst thing I think you can do, even though you want to, because you still want to talk about it, is go into that event and talk to other people about the unresolved issue. Because I've never heard of that helping it. It always escalates it even worse, and then you're around people, and I don't know. I think that just made it 10 times worse, because now he was telling a different story to them, and her face, I mean, and I don't think she was confused. Sometimes we misunderstand what people said. No, I think she's very clear on what was said out there, and she's repeating it back like verbatim of what was said. I don't know. And I don't know how bad the texts were. I want to say they're not probably that bad because I like them as a couple and I like him, but I don't know. I don't trust anybody on this damn show. So,
do we think he's telling the truth that he texted back, "Hey, thanks, but I'm engaged now and I'm really happy. Bye"? Or did he just like he said initially, like,
no,
thumbs up?
no.
He did it.
He sent something back, and I think just based off his personality, I bet he was like, "Oh, I hope you're doing good. Yeah, no hard feelings. Well, there'll always be a special place in my heart. No bad blood here." Like one of those bullshit things where he said too much because he's a nice guy or some shit. But as like a new partner, it comes off horrible, like horrible. Especially to her, who she said she's been cheated on. So she's extremely more sensitive to these situations.
Yeah, so I think that he wasn't trying to be malicious and like trying to do anything sneaky behind her back. It's like 2.5 weeks ago he was in this he had a relationship with his ex, not like maybe a sexual one, but he had some kind of connection with his ex still, which is totally fine. People do it all the time. So maybe like it would be kind of weird for him to just dead her without an explanation. So I'm sure he like maybe he liked the message and then also said, I'm engaged, you know, and like you said, Nora, just like try to like be really sweet with the message. But I don't know, I don't think it was like trying to be super malicious about it. But I would be just as pissed if I was her, if I was dating him for like 3 months. But if I just met you 2 weeks ago, I don't think I have the right to be that fucking pissed over it.
But the feelings are so intense in the pods. It feels like you've dated for months. Garrett, man, I don't know. I think there's a little bit more here. I don't think he was just so quick to shut down his roster. I think the roster was still out there. He didn't text any of them like, delete my number or anything like that. And so, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I'm suspicious of him, but I think he's all right. But I'm suspicious. He's not cleared in my book just yet.
What do you think those texts said?
I think they had a conversation. I think that they had a conversation. It wasn't just one text like deuces, like he said. That's the way he tried to clean it up. I wouldn't be surprised if he deleted some of them and just like, all right, that's it. Like, you know, like you said, it had a special place in my heart. I know we had a great time, but I really want to give this a chance. I really like this girl, but you know, you never know. Will always have fishing or some shit like that.
Fishing.
We'll see. So, do they say yes? Does he decide, I'll move to San Diego for you and I'll cut off my roster for you and I'll make all these changes and make you happy?
I say yes. I think they're a great couple. They have a lot in common. They're very similar in certain ways. They're different from the other. They both seem very genuine. And the fact that he said he was even willing to like sell his business and, you know, move there spoke volumes. So I think they both say yes.
While he was texting his ex, I'll close my business for you. Also you, baby.
I'll close my business, but not my roster. So Nora, you're not so sure? Does anybody think that really she'll have doubts?
She might.
But she says it, which I appreciate. At least she's honest about it. Like, I'm very insecure about you cheating on me. It's happened to me. She's high alert on that. And that can be self-sabotaging. So I'm really hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping it's a yes. So I'm going to say yes, even though I'm very hesitant to, because I really want that for them. Because they do seem like they could be a great couple together.
Do you think love is blind for these two?
I think they'll both say yes. I don't think it's going to last. But I think they'll say yes.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think the annulment has already happened at the reunion? We're gonna find out some tea. All right. I think they say yes. There's always one couple. I don't think Love Is Blind has gone over, right, for any season where it's like nobody stayed together.
I think it did one season. Didn't last season? Micah and all them, they all said no, didn't they? Oh, no. There was a couple that said yes.
Yeah, I think there was one.
Yeah. 2 couples.
At least one.
The lawyer one.
Oh, yeah, Zach.
Oh, no, it was a no, and then they ended up going later. The Zach.
Yeah.
The sneaker guy, and the guy who designed sneakers, and his girl. And then they
were a great couple. They were a great looking couple.
Yeah.
Like the worst thing is like she fell asleep one time in the pod. That was funny.
People were making jokes about that. Like, how come she was allowed to fall asleep in the pod, but homegirl couldn't take a nap at home, like, for an hour?
For
like,
real.
Yeah, for real. And your parents are boring. Fuck, man. You drive up 10 hours, you couldn't think of a good story, a joke to tell? You fucking dry as hell in that conversation. Just like your son.
Damn.
All right, everybody. So we are anticipating this finale. I think there's still some explosions yet to happen. And we will be back with our conclusion. Let's see who was right. Let's see who was wrong. Let's see if Nikki D finds somebody else to Nick the D from. Love is truly not blind, but it's other things. So,
yeah, I say, and also let us know in the comments below which one is your favorite couple and why.
I say Leo and Hannah Montana reunion, getting together.
I mean, there's a
I
chance
doubt it.
they could.
I doubt it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.